which Turkey is a strategic partner. Strengthening multilateralism, reversing the erosion of rule of law, and creating a more equitable global governance system is a responsibility we all share. And Turkey will continue to do its utmost to fulfill this responsibility and support all efforts towards this end. Thank you.
I thank Her Excellency Ms. Kinci for her statement. I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Ronald Lamola, Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of South Africa.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. South Africa has just emerged from its 6th general elections, where no one political party could form a government alone. The ANC, which had a majority but could not form a government alone, initiated engagements with all parties represented in our National Assembly, and therefore formed a government with 10 parties in the interest of all people of South Africa. We did this to ensure that we continue with stability and avoid a stalemate in the interest of the people, to resolve pressing challenges. We believe this is a model for democracy across the globe. In his address, in the General Assembly yesterday, the Secretary General stated, "Wars rage with no clue how they will end." Close quote. There are several conflicts that plague the world today, with civilians being killed on a daily basis. Why are we not able to do anything about it? Why is it that this body, the Security Council, dedicated to the pursuit of peace, is unable to effectively contribute to end conflicts? Is it because of unwillingness on the part of its members, or is it because of the Council being unable to act because of its structural deficiencies in the face of contemporary challenges? It is clear that the Pact of the Future is the way to go to reform the Security Council, to make it representative, to make it inclusive and accountable, to be able to resolve and evolve with the global evolving world. Mr. President, it appears to both in his new agenda for peace and document, the Secretary General knows that the national security doctrines of many states emphasize the growing geostrategic competition and military budgets are increasing, illustrating more distrust and less unity. A steady erosion of trust and competition between states is weakening the ability of the international community to work together to address shared challenges. The selective application of international law, the hypocrisy as well as the double standards displayed by some member states that has resulted in the unfortunate situation in prolonged conflict and suffering of civilians. By the action or inaction on the part of the Security Council, there is an impression that some should warrant more protection than others, and that lives in some parts of the world are worth more than others. The people of Sudan are left destitute by inaction. The situation in Sudan does not enjoy the glare of international media or the attention of humanitarian relief agencies. To them, the United Nations system is for others and not for their protection. We should act to end impunity in Sudan. The horrific events of the ongoing war on the people of Palestine that has now escalated into the Lebanon has resulted in thousands of casualties. This utter disregard and violation of international humanitarian law and international human rights law is clear. It is becoming increasingly easier to fund wars instead of development. The Security Council has failed to meaningfully act. It has become evident that parties to conflict will continue to disregard their international moral and legal obligations for as long as the Security Council does not enforce the decisions it takes. For this debate today to be beneficial, we must reaffirm our commitment to seeking an end to conflict through peaceful means in line with the UN Charter and international law, and ensure the implementation of the Pact of the Future. The Security Council should be prohibiting to use of force and not regulating its use as part of furthering the interests of those that seek war as means to advance their interests. The inability of the Security Council to act because of its current archaic structure is glaringly obvious. For the Security Council to be effective and relevant, it must be reformed to reflect global realities. Appropriate representation in both categories of membership by all regions of the world is necessary to transform this body into one that is able to respond effectively to bring peace in terms of its charter's mandate. Through the Africa Peace Initiative and participating in other platforms aimed at peace, South Africa continues to play its part in efforts to find sustainable solutions to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. South Africa remains engaged in efforts to find long-lasting solutions to myriad of conflicts on the African continent. We are involved in diplomatic efforts in Ethiopia, in Sudan, in the Democratic Republic of Congo. We have also deployed our troops to frontline as part of peace support operations in some parts of the continent. In this context, we welcome the support of the UN in peacekeeping in Africa and call for even greater cooperation between the UN and the African Union on peace, development, and other progress-defining initiatives. On Palestine, we have resorted to international legal mechanisms, including the International Court of Justice and the International Criminal Court, to ensure that there is accountability for violations of international law. This pertinent open debate presents us with a reflective moment on the serious ramifications of the inability or lack of willingness in respect of complying with the Charter. We reiterate that the culture of impunity and disregard of international law by powerful states and those that they support politically, militarily, and financially have often undermined the Council and the International Court of Justice, including the International Criminal Court. Let us commit to meaningful actions to address these challenges by implementing the Pact of the Future and ensuring that the Charter is respected by all. I thank you.
I thank His Excellency Mr. Lamola for his statement. I now give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Tobias Lindner, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of Germany.
Mr. President, Excellencies, colleagues, when the shelling began, Huda Ahmed and her 4 children had to leave everything behind. Not once, not twice, 4 times. 4 times they fled the relentless killing in Sudan. 4 times they escaped the crossfires of the warring parties before finally